A couple of things that I want you to know, things that'll be useful for you if you continue on into college or university, are the course numbering system and the credits and how those work. Let's start with the course numbering system. Now, the course number, the class how it's referred to includes a prefix, which is 3 or 4 letters. And those letters represent the department or the subjects that's being taught, and it's an abbreviation of that department. And we often pronounce the abbreviation. So, for example, biology 101, which is an introduction to biology class, might be called Bio 101. A chemistry 160 class is called Chem 160. At the Washington State community colleges, we have a new prefix, many new prefixes, which include the ampersand, which is the and symbol. And it means that the class has a common course number, which is a shared number between different Washington State schools, which makes it a lot easier to transfer from one school to another. So, for example, English 101 is the prefix is ENGL ampersand 101. That is equivalent throughout the state of Washington. Same course number, so that the transcript evaluators can immediately see that it's a common course number, and the credits can be transferred very easily. So that's the prefixes. The numbers that you have is usually a 3-digit number. If the number is below 100, it means that it's not college credit, but it usually has tuition. Depending on which department it is in. So ESL, for example, does not have tuition attached to it above $25, but English 095, 096 does. The first digit is approximately the number of years after high school, so that would be 100 level. So 100 level classes are typically for first-year students or freshmen. A 200 level class, usually you have an introduction 100 level, and then you can continue to a 200 level class, which is usually for sophomores, and things like that. Something for a class that's in the 100s, usually the lower ones mean the more introductions, the ones that introduce you to the higher topics. For example, English 101 would be the first college level English class. Numbers above 400 usually mean graduate, meaning postgraduate or post-university work, so for a master's or for a master's degree or a doctorate. Okay, so the number of credits. So the credits equal the number of lecture hours per week, roughly. So, for example, if the class is all lecture, like a history class, it would be all lecture. If there are 5 hours of lecture in that week, it would be a 5-credit class. But labs or internships have more hours per credit. So, for example, Biology 160 is 7 hours per week, but it's a 5-hour class because of the lab hours that are added to it. It's usually 2 hours of lab equal 1 credit, something like that. And that varies per college. The full-time students, students who are getting financial aid, to be full-time student, you usually need to carry a 12-credit load, 12 credits or higher. Typically, for a full-time student at a quarter school, like we have in the Seattle district, is 15 credits, usually 3 5-credit classes for a full-time student. And that's typical, but 12 credits is the minimum to be full-time. Semester schools and quarter schools are different. So a semester school has, I believe, a 14 to 16 week session in the fall and one in the winter, whereas a quarter school would be 11 weeks in the fall, 11 weeks in the winter, 11 weeks in the spring. So the credits are not quite equal. So if you transfer from one credit from a semester school to a quarter school, there has to be some complicated math that goes on behind the scenes to let you know how many credits that you have that you could transfer in.